people, how are you all doing? Sam here, United People's TV. It's Friday. I'm in a great mood. United winning football this week. That's a good start. Weather's nice outside. That's a good start. It's Friday, even better. And Europe are absolutely pumping USA to start the Ryder Cup. I mean, come on. It's a good start to the Friday. I will not apologize to any Americans who are watching. I mean, if you are watching, what are you doing up at this time? Anyway, good morning. We've got the game against Palace tomorrow. We're going to be speaking about that. I did my starting 11 yesterday. We'll speak about it this morning as a community. You can let me know what you think about my team and the predictions. We're also going to speak about Brazilian teenager Lorran. I'm going to call him Lorran. Don't know. Anyway, Flamengo, 17. 50 million euros release clause. That's a lot of wedge for a teenager. Man United are scouting him. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed it. We'll have a little conversation about that. And also, look, it's a lot for a teenager, but it's also part of a wider trend that's happened and has been happening for quite a few years in football. It's just that United haven't really been involved in it. We'll speak about that. We'll speak about, I don't know, there's a million other things we can speak about this morning. But look, good morning to everybody who's here from the member gang on YouTube. Let's have a look. Pratosaurus Rex, good morning to you. We've got Tum1, Ronald. We've got Saeed. We've got Rofi. We've got Poz. We've got John Neal. Good morning to you. Jonesy. Teresa. Chris Dyke. Alan. We've got Lily. We've got Ricky Thompson, Kieran Malian, Walter Waruta. Save the Jungle. We've got Ricardo Farouk. Who's on Facebook? Let's have a quick look. Saint Lemon. I don't know. That's a good name. Mike Saul. Good morning to you. Ishan. We've got Danny Hop. Don Smart. Good morning to all of you. Let's make this a good show. It's Friday. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good chat. And let's jump straight into it, man. Let's jump straight into it. Let me pull this up here so I don't miss anything in the chat. And we can, oh, man. I mean, it didn't. David and Shax have gifted 5 memberships each. This really is. That's the Friday vibes we want. That's the Friday vibes we want. There's 10 of you. Jeez. Little double gong. I seriously can't. I really need to speed up me doing the software so I can put that on the shelf and retire the gong so I can make it digitalized. Whee! There's 10 of you who have just been gifted a membership. And I will say this now, nice and loud, all right? That is the link for the Discord. The Discord community is there. Tomorrow, the Telegram community is being deleted. It will not exist past tomorrow. So you've got today and tomorrow to migrate from the Telegram community over to Discord, which is significantly better and improved. And you might struggle with it, but you've got all the mods there to help you. I can't say it any more times. I won't say it any more times. After tomorrow, the Telegram community doesn't delete. It doesn't exist. It's deleted. And the only community home that we've got is Discord. So make sure you head over there. But let's talk about this lad. All right. 50 million euros. 50 million. Yeah, that's a lot of money. But as I said, I'm going to show that it's part of a wider trend. It's just that United have just not really been involved in it. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed yesterday. Let's go full screen here. That Manchester United and Chelsea scouts have recently been tracking Lorran, Brazilian top talent born in 2006. Release clause included in his Flamengo deal is 50 million euros. And he's already part of Rock Nation Sports Brazil, the same agency that represents Vinicius Jr., Paqueta, Martinelli, and Endrick. Now, Endrick is a player that you should, well, maybe you don't all know about, but that's a player that Real Madrid have recently signed back in 2022. Now, when it comes to Lorran, no one's going to pretend that they know a million things about him because nobody does. However, it's part of, as I said, the concept of paying 50 million euros for a teenage Brazilian breakthrough player on the surface sounds outrageous, right? It does sound outrageous because it kind of is outrageous, but it's also reflective of a trend that has been happening in football for a good while now. And Real Madrid have basically been leading with it. I can't remember how much Endrick was, but I think it was over 60 million euros. Is it written down here in the article? I'm pretty sure it was north of 60 million. And he was 16 at the time. You can't join them until he turns 18 anyway. But Real Madrid there, signing Endrick. Real Madrid back in 2017, right? Around about 30, 40 million for Vinicius Jr., who is one of the best players in world football now. And Real Madrid got in there early. Vinicius Jr., they did the same with Rodrigo. And I'm not sure how much Rodrigo was. That was a pretty decent deal as well, wasn't it? Let's have a look. No idea how much. Barcelona did it with Neymar. Maybe Manchester United might do it with Lorran. As I said, it is a lot of money, but it's also reflective of a trend that's happened in football, right? You can get annoyed about it if you want, all right? And you can sit on the sidelines like Manchester United have. Look, even Chelsea have been getting involved. It was Angelo Gabriel from Santos in this summer. I think they signed another one too. Not quite as much as the other ones, but as I said, Endrick, who's going to be joining Real Madrid this summer coming up when he turns 18. Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Barcelona with Neymar. If you're scout, and it all depends on how much you trust your scouts, because they are huge gambles to spend that much money on a teenager, right? And Man United we were shopping in the bargain bucket loan bin on deadline day, trying to sign Amrabat on a season-long loan because we couldn't afford to buy him for the 20-30 million. So it might just be outrageous to have the conversation of United being involved here. But United are tracking and at least scouting him. I'll be honest, I think this has to be part of a shift. Manchester United's academy recruitment, honestly, I've been quite impressed by it over the last, let's call it 5 years or so. Hannibal is a really good example of a player who was brought in to our academy and has then burst through. Marc Gerardo was another one that was brought in. Alejandro Garnacho was brought in from Atletico Madrid when he was 16. You know, when it comes to the academy in United, it's brilliant when we can produce from within players who come through our ranks, right? But also at the same time, you have to match that with really strong recruitment from abroad. And in particular, Brazil, I think, when it comes to these sorts of players. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And as I said, it's also kind of part of a wider Man United's academy, right? A few years ago, I remember specifically, actually, it's when I had an interview with Andy Mitten and he spoke about this. He wrote an article about basically the downfall of Man United's academy. And Man United's got a bit of hair on there. Thank you. Anyway, Man United's academy, call it like, what was it, 6-7 years ago? I think it was when Nicky Butt was the head of the academy. And it was at the same time as Man City were really, really investing hard. They built their new stadiums. They built everything. And they turned themselves into the go-to place for academy players. And you can see that now in the amount of players who are coming through Man City's academy system that they're selling on for big money. Was it Cole Palmer to Chelsea for 40-odd million? James Trafford to Burnley for 20 million? And there are countless other examples, let alone them making, who was it? Romeo Lavia going to Chelsea, and then they made like 20 million on that. They've made bucket loads of money from academy players. And United have had a bit of a restructure, you would call it, right? Luke Fedorenko was brought in, I believe, last year as sort of like the new head of Manchester. What is it? Head of Manchester? Yeah, head of academy recruitment. And there's been a few sort of internal. These are more like internal and probably more UK-focused appointments. But you can see that Manchester United look. I don't need to run through what they're doing, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different appointments that have had, well, as I say, kind of internal promotions. Manchester United are going to be bringing in a new head of local recruitment as well. And yeah, what we need as a football club, that Endrick, let's see what goes on with Real Madrid. They've had a pretty good track record. Not perfect track record, but a pretty good track record of signing young players like that who come through. Stephanie, you're right. Like the South American market has loads of hidden gems. I wouldn't call these bargains by any stretch of the imagination. Look, they're not. But Vinicius Jr. was signed. And look at who Vinicius Jr. is now. One of the top 3 wingers in world football. And Real Madrid went in and got in there nice and early. Rodrigo, another great signing by Real Madrid. And as I said, Neymar at Barcelona. was another spot. Let's see what United do. It's part of, hey, look, it's not part of modern football. It's always been part of football. Being able to have scouts who identify players who aren't yet firmly in the spotlight. It's what Brighton have done incredibly well at. The difference, of course, is that, and this is no disrespect to Brighton, but the level of scrutiny and spotlight of Brighton is just a little bit less intense than Manchester United. So players do have the opportunity to grow a little bit more. And that's why that environment, it's why Dortmund were able to be Dortmund. It's why Haaland went there. It's why Sancho went there. It's why Bellingham went there. They were a really good level of football, but not quite as fierce spotlight there as anywhere else. So they had the ability to grow. It was the right environment. And Brighton have nailed that. But let's see what goes on here. I think this is an interesting one. 50 million euros, though. It's absolutely wild, isn't it? But it's just like, there's no point getting offended about the idea of any team spending 50 million on a teenager. It's just the way that modern football has gone. You can thank state ownership. You can thank Man City. You can thank Chelsea and what they've done to the market. The whole market has gone mad. The Premier League is effectively the Super League now. Like, when it comes to spending power, no one can come close. I'm going to go and read a few of your comments out down here. Robert, you're saying this just focuses yet again that the whole club needs a restructure from top to bottom. United have been trying to do that. Honestly, in these last, I would say 4 or 5 years, Man United's academy has become significantly better than it was before. Significantly better. Like, we were just in the shadows for a good while. Nick Cox. I'd love to get Nick Cox on here for an interview. I saw he did an interview with United Stand once. They went and met him at Carrington. I don't have that kind of access yet, but I'd love to get him on here for an interview. I tried to slide into his DMs a couple of times. Richard, do you remember when we had feeder clubs? Was it Royal Antwerp? I think it was Royal Antwerp. I remember, was it Marnik Vermeil? I think I remembered that. I swear he was a Belgian defender who went on loan there. Man, that's some pub quiz question. That's some pub quiz question. I think I might have missed some gifted memberships down here. I did, man. Red X. Red XI? Red Eye? No one wants Red Eye. Well, maybe you do. Big up to you, my man. Antwerp. Yeah, it was Antwerp. And you're saying 50 million euros is crazy money, but if it produces and helps us to win, this is the thing, right? These are probably the biggest gambles in football, right? From a transfer perspective, these are the biggest gambles. You're 40, 50, 60, 70 million euros on a Brazilian teenager. And you're like, oh, man, I hope this works out. And if it does work out, you end up having one of the best players in the world. So that's why the gamble is there. And that's why United are scouting Lorran. Let's find out what goes on. I don't think we need to have too much more conversation. I was thinking about doing a full story on this today, and maybe I will actually. When I think about the concept here, this isn't just about Lorran, right? It's the fact that Manchester United now really have to pivot our transfer strategy, and we have to start unearthing gems again. Like, Rasmus Højlund wasn't really unearthing a gem, but it was a very different type of signing for us. Signing a 20-year-old player who isn't yet the perfect striker, but could well become the perfect striker in a year or two of development. And he'd only be 22 at that point. They're the sorts of signings that we need. There's this, look, Casemiro we went after De Jong all summer, and I'm going to speak about De Jong again in a second. I know it's a bit crazy, but I'm going to. We then didn't know what to do, so we went to Casemiro. But it was a 30-year-old, technically at his peak. Not really the sort of sustainable signing that is going to take you through the next 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, you look at Real Madrid's midfield right now, and it's basically unfair. Was it Tchouaméni, Bellingham, Camavinga, and Valverde? And you look at that and you're like, damn, how do they do it? But it's just about forward planning, right? Forward planning needs to be done. Brian is saying, how do you go about getting a feeder club? Why don't we have one now? Makes sense for us, surely. Well, a lot of teams, Man City, for example, are leading it, obviously, with the multi-club model. Chelsea have just bought Strasbourg, I think, in France. It's part of modern football. I really, really, really am massively against the multi-club model. I think it just creates such a mad monopoly for the absolute top-tier teams, like a ridiculous monopoly. Like Chelsea ended up, well, it wasn't Chelsea. It wasn't Chelsea, but it was Chelsea. Strasbourg ended up spending big money. They signed a couple of players that Chelsea probably couldn't have signed, but now they're inside the system. Chelsea can easily just go over there, whoop, and snoop and swoop, snoop and swoop, whatever. I don't agree with it, but again, it's part of a modern trend of football. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. Who knows? He may well be good, but it's a gamble. Football is a gamble on prospects. What it is, Danny. And the thing is right, if you have really good scouts, then you reduce the gamble. That's what a good scout does makes it like it reduces it from like that is 100% a gamble. Whereas if you get a really good scout who does the research properly and you can trust him, it reduces that. You put your trust in that scout. You're basically entrusting that scout with 50 million euros, right? You trust that his instinct is correct. Like, it's a bit like, look, there you go. It's perfect example here. Bit different, a little bit different. I've got this. I'm not sure I've actually shown you this yet. So my auntie sent this. Kathleen, I know you're not watching, but this is a George Best commemorative £5 note. Look at that. You can't really see it, can you? See if I can pull it up here. Whoop. Little £5 there. Little £5 there. Anyway, look. Here you go. Because I knew it said this on the inside. A Manchester United talent scout to Matt Busby in 1961. I found you a genius. That's what good scouts do, right? Good scouts know their own local environments. They know the right games to watch. They know the right teams to watch, and they go and they sign stars, young stars. That's a really funny example there. No, I'm not selling that, and it's going to cost a lot more than the £5. But yeah, I'm interested to follow this one actually. Let's see what goes on. But let's move on to the next talking point, and this one's quite funny. If I'm being completely honest, my immediate reaction to this is just to laugh. Barcelona have been charged with bribery in a referee corruption scandal and could face a ban from football. That's just me enjoying that. Barcelona face a bribery case in the Spanish courts over a refereeing scandal that could potentially lead to the club being banned from football at a time when their finances are at their most precarious and the Nou Camp has been demolished. I mean, no one likes to see it. Nobody likes to see it. Apart from everybody. They've been operating like a shady, organized crime family, man, when it comes to their finances, when it comes to how they've run their football club and sold off their football club and the cooking of their books. So yeah, I'll be honest, like, I know I've been stung before, but you know what? I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to forget. All right. I'm willing to come on, Frankie. We'll just pretend nothing else happened before. All right. We'll say, and we'll move on. Come on then. Maybe there's going to be a bankruptcy fire sale. And Man United with the first ones on the door, just knocking. Knocking. Oh, lads, how much you want? Nah, you can have half of that if you want. Pay cash right now. Could well be a fire sale. But it could well and likely, let's be honest, Barcelona are unlikely to get banned from football. But the problem is, when it comes to corruption of that scale, the thing that maintains that corruption is money. They haven't got any. So Sod knows how they're going to try and maintain their control there. But yeah, they're now wrapped up into a bribery scandal. The stadium, Nou Camp, is half demolished. They're building a new one. They've already sold off everything to pay for everything so far, let alone getting involved in this. So yeah, man, Scott, you're saying that De Jong episode really cut you. Man, that was just, I don't even want to think about it, if I'm honest. I don't want to think about it. That was such a brutal summer-long. It was just like a slog, like a constant. Every day you're just doing this and just doing that. And I remember covering it with you, and I was like, I'm really, really sorry that I'm having to use another picture of De Jong on the thumbnail. I swear I don't want to. I promise I don't want to. But you have to, because it was just it was constant swings back and forth, back and forth. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Casemiro was good last season. He definitely delivered on what we expected Casemiro to deliver in the goodness of the season. But wow, would our time so far under Ten Hag have been different if we had signed Frenkie de Jong? That one game against Crystal Palace, that one game showed you what happens when there is an actual top quality midfielder who constantly shows for the ball, who constantly is there as an option and helps with the build-up. That could have been Manchester United from the first game. Well, whenever Casemiro made his debut. I think, well, we lost to Brighton and Brentford before Casemiro came in. But you get what I mean. Chris is saying, let it go. I'm trying to let it go. But then Barcelona might be doing a fire sale. Let's find on. If they do a fire sale, United will be there. We will be there for sure. De Jong is now 22% of Barca's wage bill. Jeez. Shame, isn't it? Real shame. But look, I still like Casemiro. And the short that's going out, it's actually the short that went out yesterday. I was speaking about Casemiro. Let me get a photo of him up here, and we can have a little conversation about Casemiro. Because I'll be totally honest, right? He has been bang average for like 80% of this season, if not more, I would say. Let's pull this up here. That one there. That one there. This is why you prepare things off screen first. Anyway, let's go. Casemiro, right? He has been bang average for a lot of this season. I think in Erik Ten Hag's system with two aggressive number 8s with Bruno and Mount, he expected them probably to track back a bit more. And I don't know if he expected Casemiro to be as aggressive as he was. But Casemiro found himself isolated so often in that midfield role. He doesn't have the athleticism to cover that much space on his own anymore. And his weaknesses were exacerbated by a system that really exposed them. And then you saw that against Crystal Palace. You saw what happens when Casemiro now has that player like Amrabat playing behind him. That could really be the key. Like I know that Casemiro is a slow starter. I know that. But it was a really slow start this time. What would 7, 8 games into the season? 6, 7, something like that. He's our top scorer. It's madness when you say that. But the thing I'm saying is this, right? I think from now on, you might see Casemiro operating in a slightly different midfield role. Now that you've got Amrabat being the cover behind him, Casemiro can have the confidence to go forward and be that proper, kind of like box-to-box midfielder. When you've got somebody who's that good and that dangerous in the opposition's box, goal against Crystal Palace, not the only example of it this season, the goal against Bayern Munich, and of course there's others too. Scored 4. Scored 2 against Bayern. When someone's that good in the opposition's box, you need that player to get there. Therefore, you have to remove the defensive responsibilities from him, which is exactly what Amrabat does. Even if he starts in the left-back position, when United are in possession, he moves centrally. And I just get the feeling that Casemiro is just going to really, really enjoy being this different type of midfielder. Like he spent his whole career making other players look better. Whereas now he can score the goals. He can get the assists. I don't know. I just get a good feeling about it. Maybe it's because I'm eternally optimistic, right? But it feels like there's going to be a slightly different version of Casemiro in terms of the role he's playing, and I think he's really, really going to enjoy it. I don't think he should be a striker. I'm not saying that. But I think he's going to be scoring a fair few goals. A couple of super chats here. Shafiq, you're saying feeling positive about United. Ten Hag is cooking. Well, he cooked on the barbecue last weekend, and we've got to have a barbecue every weekend now. Superstition, right? They'll change their name to Barcelona Rangers FC. That would be a shame. Rangers did come back-ish. But look, Casemiro. Let's move on to talk about tomorrow's game, right? Tomorrow's game. Is that my starting 11? That wasn't my starting 11. This was my starting 11, though. Actually, no, that's not it. We forgot about that. I'll speak about the starting 11 next. But this is some nice positive injury news. We've had a rough start to the season, let's be honest, when it comes to injuries. We're starting to come out the other side. Well, I say we're starting to come out. We've still got Luke Shaw out for months. Still got Wan-Bissaka out for months. Still got Tara Madison who's not kicked the ball for us. We're not completely out of the woods yet. But Ahmad and Kobbie Mainoo are expected to return after the October international break. So, the October international break. We play this weekend against Palace. Then we play midweek against Galatasaray. Then next weekend, we play Brentford. And then we head into another bloody international break. And after those games, that's when these two lads will be back in time for us to play City and Newcastle. I think Copenhagen as well. Mainoo in particular. Ahmad, I thought, was impressive in pre-season. And given our right wing problems, it's fair to say that he would have had more opportunities. Pelistri's doing well there, but I'm looking forward to getting Ahmad back. He's someone who drifts inside a little bit more. But Kobbie is... In the preseason, it looked like Kobbie was just ready. That's the only way I can describe him. Like, without overhyping him, without doing this or doing that, it's just that Kobbie Mainoo, in that preseason, it didn't look like his first preseason. It looked like he had been there before, that he had done it all before, and he was kind of taking everything in his stride, which is what the best youngsters in the world do. They don't stand out and go, wow, like they're trying to over-impress or they're trying to exaggerate. It was just like, yeah, I'll just play football. Looked calm. And it was that injury against Real Madrid, of course, that's hurt him to this point, but it won't end this season. I'm looking forward to seeing Kobbie Mainoo back in this team, man. And if Man United then all of a sudden have options like Amrabat and Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount and Hannibal in our midfield, and then you've got reserves like Eriksen, you've got McTominay, all of a sudden, they're shiny, shiny demon in the middle of the road. I swear I'd make some Tenacious D tributes too much. All of a sudden, you're looking at some genuine midfield options, which is a big difference to how we've been in these last few weeks. I tell ye that. We go down here and read the comments out, see what you're saying. Richard is saying we've got a very good squad. I wouldn't say we've got a very good... Dan Gore, of course, coming through. Thank you very much for reminding me. It's nice to have a bit of positivity when it comes to injuries. Now, what I'm going to do here, I think I've got to see this quickly. John, yes, man. Yes, sorry, I'll join in as well. I don't know how many memberships I gift on a monthly basis. But there's another 5 from... There's 5 memberships from John, and there's 5 from me, and we'll just do one joint gong. Jeez. Big up to you, John. My man. There's 5 from me as well. Enjoy your Fridays, everybody. Look, this is the team that I had predicted. Ian, he's saying, have you admitted your new man crush is out? No, you know who my man crush is, all right? I'm not cheating on Martinez. Butcher of Manchester. Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that hoodie from, Martin? Look, I like it. It's nice. Excited to... I'm so ridiculously excited to show you what I've been doing with the merch. Like, I know that I've said the merch was good before, and it was. This is next level stuff. Honestly, this is proper... They are the best designs that are going to exist in the United or just football merchandise space. We're spending a lot of time and a lot of effort to make sure they stand out. They're not just run-of-the-mill, slap a design on a t-shirt and sell it to you. They are fashionable. They are... They're cool. They are really, really cool. But anyway, let's run through my predicted starting 11 for the game. All right. Couple of changes. Lindelof coming in for Harry Maguire. Bruno coming in the middle. Was it Mason Mount who started there? I think it was, yeah. Mason Mount, I'm putting out on the right wing. And Marcus Rashford coming in at left wing, right? Of course, Reguilon may well come in and play at left back. And if he does, then you may well see Amrabat go into midfield and probably Mason Mount drop to the bench and Pelistri come on with Bruno and Hannibal alongside him. I don't personally think that Erik ten Hag will change that. I think he'll play Amrabat at left back again. Look, I know people keep saying, Crystal Palace were crap. Crystal Palace will change their team. Roy Hodgson has admitted that Crystal Palace don't really have that many players to bring into that team. Crystal Palace they're having their own injury problems. Right? I think Eze will come back in. There's a couple of players that will come back in, but largely it's going to be the same team. And therefore, I want the exact same performance. And therefore, am I really going to change a lot from that team who played Palace midweek? No. I think Amrabat should stay at left back. Linton, I think you're right about that. I genuinely think there is a chance that Harry Maguire keeps his position. Yeah, I thought he played. He did the job that he needed to do against Crystal Palace at the weekend. I would expect Palace to be a little bit more aggressive. You know how they were more aggressive in the second half? I would expect them to start like that rather than do that when they're 2-0, 3-0, 2-0 down. Marcus Rashford coming in. Garnacho had a good game. Garnacho scored a goal. Rashford gets... I think it's the players like Rashford and Bruno, right? Rashford and Bruno are two players who I think get significantly more criticism than anybody else. And truth be told, it's because of the levels that they have shown you. Bruno Fernandes, you know how good he can be. So if he's not that good every single game, you criticize more heavily. Marcus Rashford scored 30 goals last season. Therefore, if he's not doing that, you heavily criticize him. I think both of those players get over-criticized given how important they are to the team. And I've even seen people suggesting that Bruno Fernandes doesn't come back into this team. And I'm like, are you just trying to troll me? I mean, presumably you are just trying to troll me, because there is surely not a logical United fan in the world that would even remotely suggest that Bruno Fernandes doesn't come back into that team immediately. Bruno Fernandes is our best player, man. Bruno Fernandes starts every game. And that midfield there, I think it's just... Mason Mount, I think, is the interesting one. What do you think about this? I would say that's probably the biggest question. Is it the biggest question? Yeah. For me, that's the biggest question. Should Mason Mount start out on the right wing? Because in terms of options, you've got Pellistri could play there. You've got Garnacho could technically play out there as well. That's basically your main options. You're not going to play Van der Beek out there. You're not going to play McTominay out there. And Martial, well, no, you're not going to play him out there. So it's either Mason Mount, it's Pellistri or Garnacho. Now, the reason I'm putting Mason Mount in there, again, like Mason Mount, he suits that right wing position. Creatively, crosses into Højlund. From a defensive pressing perspective, he will double down and double back, and he will make sure he'll work a bit like Anthony in that sense. I almost feel like it might suit him a little bit more than playing as one of the aggressive number 8s. Especially now that Hannibal's come through. He's shown that he can do that centrally. We kind of need that for the right wing, I think, right now, certainly. Look, at Madhouse, you're saying Pellistri must play a part? Absolutely. I'm looking at Pellistri and Garnacho as two sort of game-changing attacking substitutions, because it's perfect. If you've got Garnacho and Pellistri to bring on for the last half an hour, 25 minutes or so, depending on how the game is going, you've then got brilliant, fast-paced options on the wings who can get in behind the fullbacks and cause defenses all sorts of problems. It feels like that's the more logical start 11 to go with. And I'm a little bit confident, actually, about getting 11 out of 11 there. I might get... If I was going to get one wrong, I would probably predict Lindelof for Maguire. I think that could happen. Other than that, I just don't see Amrabat moving from left back. And probably not for the foreseeable, really. Like, why would you? It might be weird, but Amrabat might end up playing his first few games for Manchester United starting from left back. It's weird. Robert, you're saying, Sam, what about the Telegram community will be shut down? Everything, Robert. All the groups will disappear. The Telegram community will not exist past Saturday evening. So please, 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 come and join the Discord. It's completely free. Some people just don't like change, all right? When I first made the Telegram community, it's because so many people in the community kicked back and said, oh, I don't like Discord. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I went to Telegram because it was so much simpler for people to use. And yeah, it's so much simpler because it's just not good enough. It offers nowhere near the sort of functionality that we need as a community. Hence why we're going to Discord. But yeah, Let me go down here and see what it's saying. Josh is saying, is Reguilon unavailable? We'll find out at lunchtime today from Eric Ten Hag. But even if he was available, I don't see why Ten Hag would, and especially because we're playing the same team. We played the same team at the same ground within the space of 4 or 5 days. We know what worked. You don't really have to change much. It would be more strange than anything if Eric Ten Hag did make an absolute ton of changes. I don't know. Look, when Reguilon's back completely, he may well go into that role. And for example, right, let's say Reguilon is fit for this game, completely and 100% fit. You would probably see this, right? I imagine you would see this. I imagine you see Hannibal drop to the bench. Manchester United have a midfield trio of Amrabat in his defensive midfield role, with Bruno and Casemiro as the 2 8s in front. And I imagine that will probably be, you could argue right there, imagine you get Martinez down there. If I was going to go for United's strongest possible 11, that may well be it. I think that probably would be it. And if everybody was 100% fit, what would be your strongest starting 11? You let me know. But I think that could be it there. Rashford, Højlund, and Mount as the front 3. Bruno, Casemiro as the 2 number 8s. Amrabat doing all the dirty work and being a proper defensive midfielder. Luke Shaw, of course. My bad. Luke Shaw's not even here. Luke's. I've got all the like seriously injured players out of this team. My bad. But yeah, I don't know. Delo's playing pretty well right now. I'll be totally honest. Yeah, the 2 that you could have conversations about the fullbacks. I just haven't got Shaw and Wan-Bissaka here because they're out for a while. Gungshi, you doing? Oh, man, Gungshi Malej, the man that the gong is indeed named after. 5 for you, sir. Big up. Anyway, the team that I think is going to start at the weekend. You get your predictions down below. I think we're going to see Amrabat hold his position. Casemiro on paper is going to be the defensive midfielder, but realistically, when United are in possession, you're going to see Casemiro drift forward up here. You're going to see Amrabat come inside and cover, and you're going to see the 2 centre-backs split. It's exactly what happened in the first game. It's exactly what will happen in this game, all right? That's going to be United in build-up, in possession, kind of operating a bit more like that. And look how aggressive that is. That's what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to it, man. As I said, you get your predictions in the comments, and I'll look down there in a second once I've got this formation sorted back out. Damn. You there. And you there. That is a boot rate. Let's have a look. I didn't say sell. I didn't say sell Wan-Bissaka. Who said that? Right. Did it. 5-0, says Carl. Jeez. That's a bold prediction. 5-0. It's my 50th birthday, says Scott. 50 years young, my friend. Happy birthday. 3-0 win, 5-0, 5. Well, I'll tell you what, everyone's feeling confident down here in the comments. 2-1, 3-0, 3-0 again. 3-0, says Ashwin. I'm hoping for a repeat performance. For me, a repeat performance of what we saw in midweek is a massive level up because we've done it in the League Cup. Let's do it in the Premier League. Exact same thing, right? Don't need to change much with that team whatsoever. The only change I'm making is Lindelof coming in for Maguire and Mount going onto the right wing. And Bruno coming back in. So a couple of changes. Not much. Wouldn't it be? I don't know when it's going to come. It will come at some point, but at some point we need to just steam a team. Just pump them 4-0 and just slap them 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not happening. But at some point that'll happen. But I'm more than happily take a 3-0. I'd love to take that. And lots of you are confident down here. If you want to see my full start 11 video, well, that's going out already. That's gone out already. I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to wrap the conversation up there. There's a few other talking points, but I don't actually want to talk about them anymore. The main talking point for today was the fact that we are scouting Lorran, who is a 17-year-old from Flamengo for 50. His release clause is 50 million euros, which might seem a lot. But if you look at the patterns of Real Madrid signing Endrick for north of 60 mil, Real Madrid signing Vinicius Jr. back in 2017 for nearly 40 mil, then, well, you realize that's the way that football is going. Now, that's a really good point there to raise at the end. And I had it up here. Don't worry about that. But it's map day. Before we finish, you know what happens here. You need to get on the map. Let me know what town and country you're watching from. You need both, by the way, not just the country. Because I'm down here. We've got Slovenia, we've got Denmark, Bosnia, South Africa, Nigeria, UK, Myanmar, USA, Thailand. Honestly, imagine being able to travel around all of these, man. It would be c'est magnifique. Musa, you're watching from Mbabane in Swaziland. Don't know whether I got that right or wrong. Mbabane. Is that it? Eswatini? I hope it is. Well, that's on the map. I hope that's the right one. Sorry, dude, if it's not. What else we got down here? We've got Andrew watching from Cubworth in South Yorkshire. We've got one deal. I'm going to try and spell this. Potchefstroom. Potchefstroom? Sounds about right. Potchef. There, I think I spelled it wrong. In South Africa. Woohoo! All aboard. Let's go down here. We've got Chris watching from Indonesia and Bali. I've already got that one down there. We've got Teklan watching from Ubelingen. I don't know why. I always seem to do that with German pronunciations. Ubelingen. In Germany. Let's get one more on the map. Let's get one more. Oh, dear. Pressing too many things here. Leicester, UK. We've got Dublin, Ireland. All these are on the map already, but I'm reading them out. Eswatini is in Swaziland. There you go. Well, I got it right then. Southampton, the UK, we've got down the map. Lagos and Nigeria, we've got on the map. And so we've got Nairobi on the map as well. I don't know. Sorry, let's go here. Stuart, you're watching from Aberdeen in Scotland, where, of course, it all began for Fergie. Indeed. Aberdeen. Aberdeenshire. On you go. Look at that. So now, mate, what I need to. We've got 514 points in this map. Remember, I had to upgrade the map because we had too many points. I wish I could make this like an interactive map that you could all just look at and play with. I think I can. It says share map up there. I haven't actually looked at that before, but I'll try it after. Thank you all for tuning in for a full week here on United People's TV. I'll be back here later at lunchtime today, I think, with a lunchtime video. I'm going to have a look and see if there's any real talking points I want to speak about. I think I might focus on that signing and the concept of signing younger players and how it's a trend in modern football that United need to get back on top of. Because other teams have been doing it. We've been doing it the last few years. We need more of it. We'll see. Have a cracking weekend, everybody. Enjoy the Ryder Cup. Big up Europe. See you tomorrow for the game. My match reaction will be there. Much love. And I'll see you on Monday for the live streams. Have a cracking weekend.